CJ to do the invocation and Mr. Thompson to do the pledge, please.
Bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Lord, thank you for this time together. Lord, please be with us tonight as we make important decisions for our community, and please be with everyone as they travel home this evening. In your son's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary Ann, would you please call the roll?
Chair Harris.
Here.
Vice Chair Morrell.
Here.
Mr. Pereira.
Here.
Mayor Brown. Present. Councilman Fan.
Here.
Mr. Strouder. Mr. Thompson.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Secretary, do you have minutes?
Yes, I have minutes dated March 3rd, 2025 for the work session meeting and March 24th, 2025 for the Planning Commission meeting notes. I make a motion that we approve without changes.
Second. I've got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as submitted. Any requests for changes? Any comments? All right, call for the vote. All those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, passes unanimously. At this point in the meeting, we will have a public comment on agenda-related items. And I will point out items in the regular agenda that have their individual public comments, if you wish to speak at the time it's in front of us, are items 9, which is North and South Magnolia Street, renaming, item 10, Prince Street, clarification, and item 11, Kirkpatrick Gallatin. I think that's it. Those items do have an individual public comment with the items, but otherwise you can speak then or you can speak now. So if anyone wishes to speak on agenda-related items, it's your time to come forward and do so. Seeing no one wishing to speak, I'm going to close the public comment on agenda-related items, and we will move on to the consent agenda, which is items 1 through 8.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recuse myself on items 4, 5, and 6 of the consent agenda, but I'll still vote on the remainder of the agenda if that's appropriate.
That's fine. We've got Mr. Pereira recuse himself on items 4 through 6. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. All right, got a second by Mr. Fan. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously. With that, we'll move on to the regular agenda, which is start with item 9, Resolution 2025-045, North and South Magnolia Street renaming.
You doing that? Good evening, Commissioners. Charlie Fury, Staff Planner. The City of Gallatin Engineering Division requests approval to rename Magnolia Street to North Magnolia Street, located between Carson Street and Small Street, and South Magnolia Street, located between Small Street and West Eastland Street. Staff does not have any comments except for the conditions that are attached to the resolution. There is a public comment portion that is associated with this item, and staff recommends approval of Resolution 2025-045.
All right, thank you. At this time, I open a public comment on Resolution 2025-145. Public comment is open. All right, seeing no one wishing to speak, we'll close the public comment on the item and we'll hear from the applicant.
Here I am.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, just like I'd mentioned last time, this was just a cleanup for some inconsistencies sometime between 2013 and 2019. They were changed to North Magnolia and South Magnolia Street. We weren't sure exactly how that happened. That doesn't follow our normal nomenclature following municipal code, but since between 2013 and 2019, they were changed like that and have been operating like that since. So it's fine to move them forward just like they are, or continue.
Sounds good.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion and second to approve. Any further debate or discussion?
I had a question, and
Sure.
It's no issues with this street renaming, but someone in the community asked me to raise this question. In the event that the city renames a street, not just north and south, but they actually renamed the street, and there's a cost incurred to the business on the street. Does the city assist in or cover any cost for the business to redo their,
Business licensing?
well, their stationery, everything else?
Lots of things. It's, when we were going through all that naming about Hatton Track and Albert Gallatin and all that, did affect some of the property owners. And, I'd never really contemplated what that, besides the hassle that it is. Yeah, if you're a business, you've got to get your stationery, your business cards, all of your licenses, all of that stuff changed. And so it is a serious consideration. A lot of times people will come to us and they'll want to have a street named for this or that or whatever. And typically I'll suggest either an honorary naming or cooperation with the people on the street who will be affected, because they don't think about those things. And then they're like, oh, yeah. So.
It could be a cost. So the real point of my question is, when we rename a street, and I don't think North and South Magnolia really falls into this category I'm talking about, but how do we notify those affected, and do we have a process by which we notify everybody on that street by mail that this street naming is being considered, or is it incumbent upon them to watch the paper and be observant of this?
So within the last, I want to say 10 to 15 business days, we sent out letters to every property owner that had the street name of Magnolia Street. We also did the same thing for the next item for Prince Street as well. So the property owners got a letter from us, and then they should have gotten some sort of notification from E911 as well.
That answers my question. Thank you. Got a motion and a second.
Yep. All right, motion and second. Any further questions? All right, call for the vote. All those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, passes unanimously. With that, move to item 10, Resolution 2025-046, Prince Street clarification, street renaming.
The City of Gallatin Engineering Division requests approval to rename East Prince Street to Prince Street. This is located between North Water Avenue and North Boyers Avenue. Staff, again, did not have any comments, and there is a public comment period that's associated with this item, and we recommend approval of Resolution 2025-046.
All right, thank you, Charlie. At this time, I'll open a public comment on Resolution 2025-046. Anyone wishing to speak, now's your chance. All right, see no one leaping from their chair, so close the public comment and hear from engineering briefly.
Yeah, it's similar to the last one, fixing an inconsistency, just dropping the east.
Yep. Works for me. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Steve got you by here. So, all right, motion and a second. Any further debate or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Okay, that also passes unanimously. Item 11 is Resolution 2025-032, Kirkpatrick Gallatin, rezoning with amended preliminary master development plan. And this item also has a public comment.
The owner and applicant request approval to zone 17.18 acres that are not currently zoned to the R8 PRD district and rezone about 4 acres from the R40 low-density district to the R8 PRD district with an amended PMDP for Kirkpatrick Gallatin on 154 acres. This is located south of Nichols Lane and west of Woods Ferry Road. This is an amendment to the Kirkpatrick Plan, which was recently approved through City Council. They are adding about 20 acres of land, primarily the Wheeler Farm, to this property. The Wheeler Farm was annexed earlier last year. With that, they are adding units as well as acreage. So with this amendment, they're adding 21.26 acres to the development. They're increasing the total number of units from 278 units to 343 units. They are increasing the lot width, the minimum lot width and lot size of the alley-loaded products. So they're actually getting, their minimums are actually getting a little bit larger. They are improving the street alignment for Collector Road C, Ferguson Boulevard. As you'll recall from the previous plan, they had to kind of jog around the Wheeler Farm, so they are realigning that. And then they will have added connectivity to Woods Ferry Road that's not just through the Woods Crossing development, which, keep in mind, Woods Crossing, which is kind of in that gap right between the development, is actually also R8 PRD. So similar lot size, similar density. With this amendment, the density is going from 2.14 units per acre to 2.27 units per acre. We're still way on the low end of the comprehensive plan and the zoning allowances for the density. Many of their changes that we had from work session that staff asked for, they did implement in this plan, adding some of the orange lots, which are the wider lots versus the pink and the purple being the alley fed product and the pink being the smaller width lots. Staff had minimal conditions on this plan, and the architecture is the same from the version that got approved through City Council with changes that you guys hadn't seen yet. And this was the original plan that went through City Council. So as you can see, the primary changes, adding this Wheeler Farm right up here, and as well as connectivity changes down here due to some changes in the stormwater conditions. Staff recommends approval of this amended PMDP and rezoning request with 6 conditions. This does require a public hearing, as it does include a rezoning, and it will go to City Council.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing for Resolution 2025-032. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward. Seeing no one wishing to speak, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll hear from the applicant.
Good evening, Keegan McCormick, Kinley Horn, representing the applicant here. I think Jillian covered it well. We were able to work with staff and we met all the work session conditions. I'm just here to answer any questions you may have.
To me, I think that everything that we brought up during the work session was addressed.
Same here, and I appreciate you guys making the changes and doing that. So I don't really have any questions with it. The one determination we do need to make is if it's a major or a minor amendment to the original, and I would think this is a minor amendment. I mean, the change in density is very, very small, and everything else is pretty well consistent. So
I thought I understood Jillian to say it automatically goes to City
By
Council.
virtue of having the rezoning,
Okay.
it makes it a major.
okay,
And that's because we're adding the land area of
Got
the
it.
Wheeler Farm.
Did I understand you say you agree with all staff's conditions?
We did, yeah, correct.
well, then I'll make a motion that it's a major amendment so that we just get that piece out of the way.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor of being a major amendment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it's a major amendment. And I'll entertain a motion on the item with its 6 conditions.
I'll make a motion to approve with all staff conditions.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second with staff's conditions of approval. Any further debate, questions? All right, with that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 12 is Resolution 2025-040, Caldwell Place Multifamily, revised final master development plan.
The owner and applicant request approval of a revised FMDP for Caldwell Place multifamily on 25.2 acres. This is located east of Cages Bend Road. East of Cages Bend Road and south of Nashville Pike. The property is currently zoned MRO and does not require a PMDP due to the age of the existing zoning on the property. The FMDP originally for this property was approved in 2023, and this is a revision to that approved plan. This proposed revision includes the decrease in the number of multifamily units from 364 to 340, a decrease in the number of total buildings, a decrease in the number of building types, the change of location of the amenity center to the interior of the site, and a revision to the architectural elevations. The proposed 340 multifamily units are in 15 apartment buildings, and they'll include amenities such as a dog park and an amenity building with a pool as well. They are providing connectivity throughout the plan to the north to a roundabout that will be constructed with the Caldwell Place townhomes, as well as a connection point to Percival, which is a private drive or a private road, and a crash gate to a road that will connect into a county road to the south. They did provide an architecture plan taking into account buffer yards and interior landscaping. and the architecture is within the height allowances and masonry allowances given for the previous version of this plan. So they did try to work within their previous approvals. This was the original plan, so very similar in layout, mostly just the decrease in the number of buildings and the types of buildings. Staff does recommend approval of this resolution with 12 conditions.
Thank you. And we'll hear from the applicant.
Hi, I'm Tyler Royalty, representing Thompson Thrift, the multifamily developer on this project. We're here for our second FMDP PC hearing and seeking approval. We do propose that a staff condition is that we make the connection to Percival Drive as long as it is legally permissible, as it is a private right-of-way.
Which condition is that? Number?
They'd like to add the condition.
Oh, they want to add the condition. Okay, my apologies. As far as the other conditions, you're good with all the other 12?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I really don't have a lot on this one. I think we talked about it at the work session. You guys did a good job taking a project and making it better, and nobody's going to argue with fewer units. And so
And I think the layout's better, too.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, I think it's an improvement on what was already a good plan.
Yes. Just for clarity, the condition we're adding, where does that occur? Is that at the very front?
It is right here.
Oh, okay.
So this is a townhome development with private roads,
Yeah, okay.
so. I believe that the pavement ends a little bit short, so they just want to make sure that they don't have any issues connecting.
What's the name of the road?
Percival.
Percival, okay. So I'll make a motion to approve it with staff's 12 conditions of approval and adding condition 13 that the connection to Percival Road be done so long as it's legally permissible.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions? It's pretty straightforward. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 13, Resolution 2025-033, the Fireplace Fellowship Site Plan.
Good evening, Commissioners. Brad Hickman, Staff Planner. The owner and applicant request approval of a site plan for the Fireplace Fellowship Church consisting of an 8,781 square foot building and a 3,899 square foot addition on 7.65 acres zoned agricultural residential district located at 1616 Long Hollow Pike. This is, it's been before body before. This is a residence. And here's our addition that they wish to add on. Supplied some architecture. Staff mainly had some comments around the parking. There's quite a few parking lights. Want to make sure all those are required. Provide a photometric plan for that. And the marking of ADA spaces there. Here's some of the architecture I mentioned. The brick is going to match the existing home. There's a few other things around stormwater calculations still need to be submitted, and the sidewalk requirement needs to be addressed. But the Planning Department recommends approval of resolution with the following 12 conditions.
All right, thank you. Do we have a representative of the applicant or the applicant themselves? Come on.
Good evening. Brad was doing such a good job. I didn't know if I needed to do anything, but I guess I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay. And, we need name and address. Yeah, name and address for the record.
My name is Shanda Tripp, and my home address is 1328 Brinkley Branch Drive in Gallatin.
Thank you. Have you had a chance to review the conditions that staff has on here, and are you guys okay with all of them?
Yes, we are. We're happy to accommodate and do whatever's required.
I have one question on the sidewalk requirement. You know, are there sidewalks anywhere else out there? I know we did the property, I think, next door to this a couple of years ago, and I can't remember if we waived this installation of a sidewalk on that one or not.
I don't remember if it was or not, but that's, the sidewalk requirements comes from the zoning ordinance. So even if we missed it somewhere else,
Right.
still should be on here.
I was just curious. I think it's.
Is that like a sidewalk around the parking lot, around the actual church? I mean, where is that sidewalk that you're talking about?
It would be parallel to Long Hollow Pike.
Oh, okay.
So the idea in the ordinance is, as properties redevelop, is installing that piece of sidewalk, so over time, you get the sidewalk
Gotcha.
network
Be safer, I'm sure.
installed,
Yeah.
so.
Aaron, question for you. Does that sidewalk go on property? I'm assuming it would have to, considering, I mean, TDOT would have to approve the sidewalk within the right-of-way.
Well, they're going to have to approve the driveway anyway. So it'd be part of that same,
Okay.
same permitting process. I haven't seen the grading for this, so I don't know the best place for
Yeah.
it to
I mean,
go.
they'll have to submit ECP plans for all of this.
They won't need an ECP for this, but they will need, we have asked for grading and drainage sheets, so it'll be
All right.
on there.
Yeah, that's the only question I had. Everything else I had questions about was addressed in the comments, or the conditions of approval.
Cool.
Is that a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve with all staff comments.
All right.
A second.
All right, got a motion and a second to approve with staff's conditions of approval. Further questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, passes unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, item 14, Resolution 2025-041, North Lake Automotive, Final Master Development Plan.
The owner and applicant request approval of a final master development plan for North Lake Automotive on .55 acre parcel, zone PGC, planned general commercial district located north of West Main Street and east of Broadway. This was deferred once before. We came back with the gist of the FMDP is to add striping to the parking lot, which is shown here on the plan, as well as an ADA space, a 10-foot buffer between these two drives. I don't believe the applicant has got their TDOT permit yet, so we'll have to see if both those drives remain after TDOT comments, and a 5-foot buffer yard here in front of the building. The planning department recommends approval of resolution with the following 6 conditions.
All right, thank you. Do we have a representative for the applicant?
Go to Beasley, Greenwood Design. We're in agreement with all staff comments. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
I don't have any questions on this. It's very consistent with what we've already approved, and the conditions seem pretty minor. So does anybody have any questions for the applicant or staff? Okay.
Motion to approve with all staff comments.
All right. Motion from CJ to approve. Second by Mr. Fan. All right. Then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approval say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 15 is Resolution 2025-042, East Broadway Retail Shell Final Master Development Plan.
The owner and applicant request approval of a final master development plan for the East Broadway Retail Shell Development on 1.93 acres located north of East Broadway and east of Municipal Park Drive. Staff had comments around a sidewalk connection that was discussed previously going back up to the Gallatin Park Apartments. So we'd like to see that back on the plan. Crosswalk for the ADA. We're asking that the property have a final plat done for it to adjust some erroneous flood information that's on the original plat. Other than that, the planning department recommends approval of this resolution with the following 16 conditions.
All right, thank you. Do you have a representative for the applicant?
Brian Mueller with Where Malcolm.
You had a chance to review the conditions of approval, and are you guys okay with those? Or any questions about them?
I did have a question on the sidewalk connection. I just want to make sure that that does not need to be ADA accessible.
Are you speaking about the sidewalk connection
To the apartments.
to the apartments? Yeah, I mean, it all needs to be ADA accessible. So if we could have a ramp going up to that, at the curb cut, I guess, at the back.
Okay. Well, I guess what's the purpose of that? Because it's not connecting to street frontage.
It's
Just trying
just,
to have connectivity.
it's
between
something the
sites.
city advises, because it'll be on your property, and we recommend that you make it ADA compliant to avoid any litigation.
Is there a problem with the grade transition?
We're about 3 feet higher than the apartments.
How close are the apartments?
The property line is 10 feet.
Are we just making a connection? Are they just stubbing to the property line?
Yeah, they'd just be going to the property lines.
So I guess, is there a sidewalk there already from the apartments?
I don't believe so.
So how do we enforce a sidewalk being installed on the apartment complex to make the connection?
I believe this was part of just the connectivity in the area.
Do we have sidewalk along Albert Gallatin?
You mean Broadway?
Well, both. Never mind. Yeah, Broadway.
Yes. Broadway, we do. I think it was put in front of the gas station down the road.
Hold on, I need to look up maps. Sorry, bear with me.
I think where he's going with that question is there sidewalk connectivity from down Albert Gallatin around the intersection to this retail? I don't know.
Might be.
My memory's not as
Okay.
good as
Gas
it was
station
last
right
week.
there.
Okay, so, yes, there is sidewalk, looks like it, all along Albert Gallatin from the corner all the way to the apartment complex. I mean, in my professional opinion, that sidewalk will never get built from the apartments to the stub. And if they're already installing sidewalk along Broadway that connects to the sidewalk in front of Circle K, which connects to the sidewalk along Albert Gallatin Avenue that ties to the front of the apartments, I would say your connectivity is met.
I can add that it was on the PMDP, which is why we asked for it. So we just, from a staff perspective,
Okay.
that's why
Gotcha.
it's on there.
Okay.
We have the authority to remove it?
Yes, it's an
I just-
interior sidewalk, so it's not like a public sidewalk
Okay.
issue. Yes, you do.
Yeah, so-
I don't feel like, even if they installed it at ADA, it would never be ADA because the apartments aren't, I don't see the apartments putting it in. And so people are going to be walking across dirt, which is not ADA.
And it only connects to the back of our building. It doesn't connect.
I mean, we could
front
also bring
sidewalk.
up potential life safety issues from people walking into the back of the property behind the building. Personally, I think that we should remove that, especially if we already have connectivity along major thoroughfares.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. It sounds like the only reason it was brought back up was that it was on the PMDP in the first
Thanks
place.
for the clarification for that. That makes total sense. What condition was that?
Condition 1.
Okay. Are there any other comments?
Any other questions? I think also pretty good on it to me.
So,
Okay. Yes, sir.
well, I haven't heard your motion yet.
I'm about to make one unless there's other questions.
Are you about to remove the sidewalk altogether, or are you removing the requirement that the sidewalk be ADA compliant?
No, I'm about to remove the sidewalk altogether.
Is this discussion, or you need a?
No motion's on the floor.
We don't have a motion, we're just, well, we've got the applicant and
Go.
engineering involved, so.
Way back in time, when this first property, I seem to recall that this property and the apartments was one development parcel. I don't know if it was one, but at one time, there was supposed to be connectivity through from front to back, both pedestrian and vehicular. And I can understand why you wouldn't want vehicular traffic, because that becomes a cut-through instead of channeling them to the intersection. But we're removing all accessibility from the apartments to this retail establishment. What is this retail? Is it like a convenience store? Is it? I don't.
Retail strip center.
Retail strip.
Retail strip.
It has one restaurant and then multi-use in the other 8.
I'm just big on connectivity.
Well, so the apartments would be required to install over 100 foot of sidewalk just to get it to their property line. I mean, there's no sidewalk within over 100 feet.
I think the spirit of that on the PMDP was in the event that the property behind it developed.
Unless I'm missing something, the property is already developed, is it not?
No, I think there's a piece of it left back there.
Behind the apartments?
How about this? How about would you be willing to put an easement in for a future sidewalk if the adjacent property owners
That
want to
area?
put one in someday?
But then how does this one get built?
Yeah.
Well, if you have an easement for the adjoining property, then there would be they would have the ability to construct it if someone wanted to build the whole sidewalk.
But if you only do an easement, I understand your concerns that you've raised, CJ.
Yeah, no, I'm just,
But if they only put an easement in for one on this property, and then the property behind it redevelops and we make them build a sidewalk, won't their argument also be, well, there's no sidewalk on this retail strip center thing, there's nothing to connect to?
I mean, that's the side, nothing.
So let me ask you this, if the sidewalk's not built to ADA standards, can you put one in that has, I guess, you put steps in it or something to make the grade change?
Yeah, there'd be steps.
I don't think every single sidewalk off of a property has to be ADA.
Just the one to the major thoroughfare,
Yeah, you need at least one.
which they have.
Like I said, that sidewalk that would connect to the apartments is not connecting to the frontage.
I would be more
Correct.
comfortable with the sidewalk, even steps back there, because we do have ADA compliant connectivity, as you suggested, going around. But this would allow the pedestrian movement from those apartments to this retail center, instead of walking way around every time they go.
So I guess, so good to have discussion before we have motions on the floor.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. This is good, because we have the applicant still here. But if I hear what you're saying, with the grade change, the building the ADA compliant sidewalk there it's very difficult to accomplish in what you've got to work with.
Correct.
So, but.
I mean, it's not impossible. You'd have to run it along.
Yeah, but.
But you're okay with steps?
36 feet long, wouldn't
I don't know.
it? 8% slope, I think it'd be.
Yeah, it'd be a zigzag over 10 feet. It'd be.
Yeah.
Well, there's one just like it across the street.
Yeah. So I guess it's up to you guys. If you want to,
My personal opinion is the sidewalk from the apartments is never going to get built. But if we want, the condition does not state that it has to be ADA compliant.
Doesn't?
I know, that's just something we always recommend because, once again, litigation.
yeah.
If we're talking litigation, I don't want a sidewalk at the back of my property behind my building
Well, they can't get to it anyways. It's
because there's no sidewalk.
not connected to the ADA path of travel. Yeah.
Which condition number is it?
Number one.
Oh.
I can see it both ways too. If it's the ADA sidewalk, it's either, if it's not ADA compliant and it's there and somebody falls down the steps, then, you have other problems. So,
Sidebar question. You don't object to any of the other 15 conditions. There are 16 conditions in total.
Go to the second page. Fine. PDOT permit.
Just for discussion, I'll make a motion to approve with staff 16 conditions, and then y'all can take one out if you.
Sign package.
Okay. Mr. Pierce made a motion to approve with the 16 conditions.
Okay, I will second,
Okay, so we've got a second, but.
but make a revision that we remove condition 1.
Okay, so got a motion to amend the approval by removing condition 1. I have a second to remove condition number 1. All right. I'll second it, just because and the reason why I'm not comfortable putting on the approval that it is a non-ADA compliant sidewalk, if that's what it's going to take to do it. But that's my rationale.
Well, I think,
No, not for over 100 feet. And they already technically have connectivity along a major thoroughfare.
Yep. My only concern with it, and I understand, Mr. Pierce's point, is I'm not comfortable approving the sidewalk and saying it's not going to be ADA compliant. I don't like the feel of that. So if we're down to a non-ADA compliant sidewalk or not a sidewalk at all, I'd prefer just not be one back there.
The sidewalk's not on the plan right now. This is something you'd have to add, is that correct?
Correct.
So let me just look at the plan for a minute and see where you'd put the sidewalk. Can anybody show me on there, like, from where to where?
Well, it would be over by the dumpster for our connection. I don't know where the apartment's connection would be.
Okay. And it's the 3-foot drop, right?
Yeah.
Are we at discussion?
We're discussing, well, we have not voted on the amendment, so.
You've got an amendment
We've
on
got a
the
first and a second, so we are discussing the amendment to remove condition number 1.
I think it was the University of Wisconsin or somewhere where they actually, when they built the campus, they didn't build, you've heard this story, I'm sure. They didn't build the sidewalks to begin with, and they waited to see where people walked, and then they went and built the sidewalks where people walked. And I just have to wonder if there's no point of connection there, and the connectivity takes them all the way around Albert Gallatin, way around to the right, and come back around. Is there going to be a dirt path right there where people cut back and forth? And furthermore, dirt path up a 3-foot slope where people slip and fall. I hear what you're saying about ADA, but I think people are going to travel that connection point right there. I'm in agreement with you that it doesn't need to be a 100-foot long ADA compliant connectivity, but I can't vote to remove the connection. I would not vote for the amendment, I think, but that's my reasoning for it.
Okay. Any other questions or debate on the amendment to the motion? We'll see now. I'll call for a vote on the amendment. This is just the vote to remove condition 1. So all those in favor of removing condition 1, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
no,
All right, 2 noes and abstain.
3 to abstain.
3, 2, and abstain. Okay. All right, so we'll move up to the main motion, which is now approval of the project with staff's conditions of approval, however, removing condition number 1. Any further questions, debate? All right, all those in favor of approval of the project, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, that passes. All right, thank you, sir. And that brings us to item 16, which is other business. I don't have any other business. Maybe.
No other business. I'll just give a very brief report. We're still working with the consultants for our zoning ordinance update. They are working through the comments that we provided back to them still. And so we're patiently waiting on getting our public review draft on that, but expecting that we should see that sometime here in the near future, and then be able to make that available to the public for review. So exciting to see that taking shape and looking forward to it.
Just a quick question on that. Once we do get it, I'm assuming it's going to be a similar process that the comp plan was, from a review / approval standpoint. Multiple work sessions.
There will likely be a few meetings with the Planning Commission and likely a joint meeting with Planning Commission and City Council. There will be obviously as many discussion meetings as needed to be able to get everybody comfortable to a point where they feel like they can vote to recommend it. And of course, that'll go to the City Council for their vote as well. But we'll do as much as we need.
Fantastic.
I think it's appropriate to share some personnel. Is this the last week?
Yeah, we're down to announcements, so are we making?
Okay, well then I won't.
No, yeah.
For
But,
Ms. Latisha?
yeah,
Ms. Latisha.
After the recording's done.
No, don't say that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
The mayor has asked that I give an announcement.
I did not. I wasn't gonna put you on the spot. I think somebody else did.
No, this is my last official planning meeting, but I will be at the work session on Monday. So I gave my notice last week, and it has been a pleasure to serve this body. Hasn't always been fun, but I appreciate all that you all do because I think it is a hard job that you all do. I am hopeful for you all in the future that you'll continue to do the great work that you do. I just ask that you actually vote. So make sure your vote is heard on the microphone when you make a vote. Keep up the discussions, give reasons, and, don't be afraid to do what they put you on this body to do, because y'all do a great job.
I think we're gonna miss you more than you're gonna miss us, but I hope you're wrong. I
second
hope
that.
I'm wrong, and I hope you're like, Mayor, I just really
Now, I
don't
can
like my
say
job. I wanna
that
come
I
back.
am going to miss the people a lot. I get sad, and I'm not gonna cry, because I am a crier, though y'all might not believe that. I am a crier, but this has been, it's been fun in the sense of I've learned so much from each of you. I really have. I can't imagine going through these last 8.5 years without you guys. So thank you for also making my job easy and not putting me on the spot every single time I come up here. So you know your stuff.
I will echo the same sentiments. It has been a pleasure working with you, and the counsel and advice and just the wisdom from your experience has been much appreciated. So.
Well,
I think you
I'll
for
be
reading my
back.
long emails and not blocking me, okay? Thanks. I really do appreciate it.
The next time I'm back in here, it'll probably be as a citizen.
No.
Always supporting what you do.
I will take that.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, we only have one motion left to be made tonight, and I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
Got a second? All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.